Hi. So today I'm here to talk to you about visceral resiliency and a more positive, I guess, note of what we can get when we all come together. So to put you a bit in context, imagine yourself having taken the day off, gotten together with friends, prepared everything in white, bought fold-out furniture, tables, chairs, food, everything that you need to do to participate in this event. Preparation probably took you at least a week, right? And then you're waiting patiently with thousands, literally thousands, of friends and acquaintances to know where the final secret destination is for your pop-up event tonight. Then you gather with these people and you travel through public transit or bus or metro into an iconic city landmark where you'll be enjoying an evening together, undisclosed location, making new friends, satisfying like a certain hunger for just trying something different. So you're anxious, you're looking forward to what's gonna happen, and finally you're taking to your location. And it's these beautiful, beautiful locations throughout the city. So absolutely, suddenly after, you've schlepped all of your stuff and you've traveled to the location and you get there and you're like, suddenly no disruptions. No cars, no pedestrian traffic, you're just there and you enjoy the moment with thousands of people that just did the same as you. So now that I've set the ground a little bit, let me tell you a little about Dîner Blanc. Dîner Blanc started in France about 25 years ago when Monsieur Pasquier returned to France after not having been there for a few years and wanted to reconnect with friends and acquaintances. So in order to just be able to gather everybody, they decided to host an event in the backyard, but the backyard was too small. So they said, hey guys, let's just do it outside. Let's just do it at the park. And to recognize everybody and their friends and partner, let's all dress in white. So 25 years later, fast forward, this has become a tradition in France. And this year, I was lucky to be, I think somewhere around there, in that dot, with 12,000 other people to celebrate this tradition, its 25th year anniversary, and sing happy birthday under the Eiffel Tower. So it's just this, magnificent, out of the blue happening. So let me tell you a bit more. So you might wonder, why do people want to participate in something like this? People participate because it satisfies a hunger for doing interesting things. In a hustle, bustle, busy lifestyle of, metropolitan cities such as New York, you want to do something that takes you out of the ordinary, that creates a sense of wonder in your own backyard. And this does exactly that, with a unique sense of togetherness. Dîner Blanc provides at the same time an escape from, but a reclamation of the place in which you live. So people get together and enjoy this in their own backyard, almost as if they were a tourist in their own city. Like, this year it happened at Bryant Park. This was the Metropolitan Opera last year, and Lincoln Center. So, you usually pass through those spaces going to work, and you're just like, okay, I gotta get to work, But you stop, and you see them in such a different light. You see them in such a spectacular way that you're not used to seeing these places that you go right through. And I think that has a sense of magic as to why people participate. Now, how do you participate in such an event? Participation, above anything, requires a sense of commitment. And once you're committed to something, you make it happen. And this is the perfect example of commitment. Funny enough, there's a few people here, I don't know if there's some probably that I didn't know, but a few people here that participated at the event this year, including Frank, And you lug all of your stuff and, you're going in the public transit system and trying to get there and exhausted. And you get there, you're committed, you've done all of this, and you get there, and suddenly satisfaction and enjoyment. The satisfaction of having put in all of that effort, prepared all of that stuff just to go there, and suddenly enjoyment. And there's two levels of participation in an event. You can participate, and in these events, what's really beautiful about it, for example, is the participation doesn't just revolve around even lugging tables and chairs and such, but people invest themselves into a whole other level that, still baffles me. You've got people wearing these great hats and these phenomenal dresses, and they go all out into investing themselves. And then you've got the second level of people that invest themselves, which are the volunteers. And that shows that people are eager to just share and give and do something interesting back in their own community, creating like a larger sense of community by investing themselves at a greater level. And what I believe is that by investing yourself, by getting really involved, you create a sense of satisfaction that just isn't satisfaction for you, but it's satisfaction for everybody else around you and with you as well. Because you played in a role. You played in this much of a role, and so did the guy next to you, and so did the guy next to you. And when you get there, you're a whole. You're one, you know? And you did that. Every single participant in something does that. So, you know, this might be, yes, the context of an event, and earlier, you know, the context of a city with Margaret, or the context of Hurricane Sandy. But when people come together, you create that beauty. You know, you create a unique sense of beauty and togetherness that you couldn't even do alone if you tried. So this is in Vancouver. These are, for example, what people do to invest themselves into events. Just, you know, not to go on about it, but it really impresses me. So they carry all of this in a subway, for Christ's sake, you know, and they get there and they lay it out, and you know, just each little thing adds into the beauty and the magic of the event. Right, so Henry Ford said, coming together is a start, keeping together is progress, but working together is success. And that applies not only to this event, but also to everything that every person has spoken about here at this conference, you know? And so, yeah, what individuals end up doing is creating basically something that's larger than the sum of its parts. So they come into this space, this empty, bland space, that, you know, usually they just go through, like I said earlier, not seeing the beauty of it. And through their participation, through their presence, they create a sort of an organic gathering that just gives light and gives a different view on the space. So participation, I think, is a very important factor to just making a more satisfying experience. So this gathering of bodies, these people, this life that happens in this space, that in itself is visceral. That's what it's about, you know? It comes from the inside out. You don't know how. You did your part. Everybody played their part. And success happens, you know? So these are just some people, and just to show you how wildly invested they are and what beauty it creates when people are invested. And that's, you know, that's something that I wanted to talk about, just that beauty happens when people come together in any context. And, you know, once you have devotion into something, you make beautiful things. And beauty isn't just about one person or one event or one space or even one city. It's contagious, okay? Everybody wants beauty. Everybody wants, you know, to enjoy a fantastic evening. Everybody wants to be part of a community. And you know, that's what happens in these events. It's that sense of community that's driven out of this, you know, this beauty. And it's not just metropolitan. It doesn't just revolve around what happens here. It's cosmopolitan. It's in the sense of how we relate not just to New York, but to the whole world. So we've you know, since this tradition started 25 years ago, we've set up something 2-3 years ago in 2011 to just see how it would react all around the world. And we have over 40 cities right now who are doing this all over the world again. So that's Montreal, Paris in 2012. You know, I get people writing in from Sydney, from Stockholm, from Singapore, from Kigali, from Johannesburg. What that means to me is that there's a sense of universality and culture that is a world, as how it relates to the world and not just how it relates to one particular city. People all over the world have these same values of wanting to share, wanting to enjoy an evening, wanting to be together, wanting to be part of something special, wanting to be part of a beautiful community. And when we put on something like this, and when we allow people to be fully invested and let themselves go, that's when things like this happen. And what's great about it is also I see people that are in their 20s and their 40s and their 70s, all seated together, you know, all just there doing the same exact things, sharing a dinner, sharing a meal, you know, investing themselves in what they're doing. And that in its own brings about the beauty of the event. It's embraced by all ages, all nationalities. Now, I want to just tell you briefly on why I think it's also resilient, not just visceral, but the resiliency part of it is very simple. I think there's 4 things that relate to that. The first, very simple thing, is fun. It's fun. It's not associated to anything. It's not bannered out. You're not getting anything. It's just not economical, not political, not social. You're just going there to enjoy an evening. And I think that creates an interest. You know, what are you supporting? My having fun, you know? So there's that sense of just excitement, entertainment that happens. And I think that adds to the resilient factor of things, that people just want to go and enjoy themselves at something, you know? Then there's a sense of adaptability. So every single event around the world, kind of like TED, has local people organizing it. So adding a flair into the event. So, you know, obviously if you go to the event that happened in Haiti last year, you know, organizers called me from Haiti, said, hey, we'd really like to do this over there. We think it would build a great sense of community, you know, around just sharing a meal and such. And, you know, they did it. They did it all over the world. And that universality of the event and that gathering of people at the event create and add to the resiliency of the event. So we've got the factor of fun. We've got the factor of adaptability, and that people around the event, around the world, add their local flair to this and make it what it is in every single city, the uniqueness of it in every single city. Then we've also got, adding to the factor of resiliency, the fact that people invest themselves. They invest themselves, and the event happens once a year. So Frank, you're coming back next year because you already have like your tables, your chairs, and your white stuff. And I'm calling you and I'm saying, hey, you gotta come, you know? So we've got the factor of fun and investment and rarity and adaptability, and I think that creates a lot to resiliency in itself of any sort of happening or event. And just to tell you a little bit about, well, you know, where are we taking this? What's happening with it in the future? So we've realized that there's a major interest of people that, you know, not only want to be part of the community where they're at, but want to visit other communities because now they're part of this group. You know, they're part of these people that love to do this. And so we are basically creating a network that allows for people to travel within from one city to another and have this experience, be able to experience this beautiful event within their community of people, you know, Dîner en Blanc goers, but also within a broader community of where they're at, you know, sort of those. So we're creating this, we're developing this network of people that participate from all over the world. Participation adds to the visceral feeling that they get when they go to such an event. Participation is key to any sort of happening. Thank you.